everyone on Facebook. Good afternoon. It is September the 3rd. Can you guys believe that? It is September. We have October, November. We have 3 more months until the end of the year. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous. So I wanted to do a quick video. I've done it before on flood zones because very relevant topic. Please comment below where you are and if you are at the beach and if you were evacuated. I have a lot of friends from Florida that had a mandatory evacuation, and it looks like if you look on Google Maps, I have it here pulled up. It looks like you see Charlotte is that blue circle. It looks like it's not really going to touch Charlotte, but it looks like it's going to impact Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Wilmington, Jacksonville, all Thursday and Friday. So I hope everyone is staying very safe out there. But still, this is a good opportunity. Do yourself a favor and see if your property is in a flood zone, because even though Charlotte is pretty dry and even in its heaviest rains, it doesn't flood that much. Those of you who have lived here long enough, you know that there's definitely a possibility that things could flood. Maybe a year or two ago, if you remember, an Indian Trail in Union County, like I've explained in one of my videos before, because the ground just can't soak up as quickly as it rains, there was some serious flooding going on. Nothing too major, but some houses, some basements were impacted. So just what I would suggest for you to do, I'll put a link up at the top in the description. There's a website called FEMA, if you've never heard of them. FEMA is basically where you want to go to figure out if your property is being affected, if your property does have a flood zone. So basically that's the place where surveyors check to see, you know, when they draw the survey. I just recently had a surveyor confirm this. They use the FEMA flood maps. So the Federal Emergency Management Agency, literally if you Google it, you'll be able to find it. And if you want to find your property, all you do is go to FEMA map in Google and you'll easily get to that web page and you can see if your property is impacted. And as well, if you want to see if your property is in a flood zone or in a wetland or a 100-year floodplain, then you could also go on some of the Union County maps. FEMA is a little outdated. So what they did was about 15 years ago, they took basically their responsibility off of them and give it to the county. So now even more accurate to check if your property is in a flood zone is to reach out to your county, whether in North Carolina here near our areas, whether that's Union County, Mecklenburg County. You literally just give them a call and they'll point you in the direction that you need to go. Just a couple of things about the different kind of floodplains. Please feel free to comment below if you have some particular questions. I'd be very happy to answer them. As a land specialist, I deal with floodplains and flood zones a lot. So basically, if your property is in a 100-year floodplain, usually on FEMA that's just in blue, that doesn't mean that your property can flood 1 in 100 years. That means that your property has a 1 out of 100, so 1% chance of flooding every single year. If your property is in a wetland, that basically means, in a nutshell, it basically means you can't build anything on it. And there's a whole different group. They're called the Army Corps of Engineers, and they have to, there's specialized people that, it's a national organization. You have to call them out, and their surveys, their engineering reports are thousands of dollars. I did close on a lot where someone did spend that money to get that figured out. And the reality is, with the wetland, you're probably not going to be able to build anything. It's almost impossible. With a flood zone, you can build on top of it as long as there's no foundation. So you can put a storage shed there, you could put a fence there, you can put an overground pool. I know a lot of people have tried maybe putting an underground pool, but you can't, because obviously that will impact the foundation. So that is basically something, since we have the flood Dorian, just do yourself a favor and check if your property is in a flood zone. Double check with your insurance company to find out what your insurance rate are and find out what your insurance rate covers, because you always want to keep those things on top of mind, because you can't really do anything after your property has been damaged and then hurry up and get insurance. So learn from other people's mistakes. Take a look at just what's going on in Bahamas, what's going on down in Florida, and that should be enough to always keep that on mind. Yes, Charlotte can flood. Union County, Indian Trail, they can flood. So just wanted to talk about a very relevant topic, especially here with land. And if you're looking to purchase a piece of property or sell a piece of property with a flood zone, that does impact it greatly. If you're buying a piece of property with a flood zone, do not be scared. That doesn't automatically mean that that's it, I need to pay $1,000 flood insurance fee. That is not the case. As well as if you are selling a piece of property with a flood zone. I have 5 lots right now in Indian Trail that the back portion is in a flood zone. Yes, it decreases the value dramatically, but it doesn't affect building too much because you can basically still build within a flood zone. There are just certain requirements that you have to meet. So I hope everyone is safe out there during this hurricane. Hopefully prayers for all of the families that are being impacted, and prayers for all of the families that have to evacuate and leave their family and leave their jobs and lives. And just wanted to say thank you. One of my best friends is an EMT. I want to give a shout out and also a prayer to all of those who are EMTs, the firefighters, the rescuers, all that are putting their lives in danger to save the others. So if you have any questions, now is the time to ask, especially, bringing it to mind. If you have any questions about your property and will it flood, can't predict that, but I can definitely help you determine what happens if it does flood and what insurance can do. And it's really as easy as reaching out to your insurance company and saying, hey, am I covered? How much does this cost me? Do I want to get covered? So if you have any real estate questions, I'm always here. This is Christina Kalyakin. I'm working here in Century 21 Vanguard, here out of the Ballantyne office, and I'm here for your residential, commercial, and vacant land needs. I hope everyone has a great day driving home. Stay safe in all of the traffic. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below.